Hey guys. I'm back to reading again because I have no motivation for gotcha videos. But a lot of people seem to like fresh content now, and I actually literally just released a fresh X-rated type fanfiction on Quotive like 6 hours ago. Crap. I am gonna try not to use voice filters because I'm pretty sure I'm only gonna use those for like the bad stances because reasons, and it kind of just makes a bunch of sense. So, yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. Okay. So, like, skin color. Okay, anyways. Ink's point of view, it's third person. Ink was almost finished with his sketch when the door opened. Blue ran in, and Fresh walked in behind him. Geez, Blue, I know I'm active all the time, but broski, chillax, he said with a booming voice. Ink smiled. Hey, guys, he said, turning towards him. Fresh looked around. So, you finally made a house, eh, Brosif? He said. Ink nodded. Yes, and I'm planning on making something else here soon, he said. Fresh smiled. Sounds cool, Brosif. Oh, somewhere in the multiverse, there's some mischief that needs to be caused. See you on the flip side. Fresh poo. He disappeared in a colorful cloud. Ink sighed and smiled and got back to sketching. So what are you going to make? Blue asked. Ink clicked his tongue and shook his head, turning towards Blue. Not what? He gently grabbed the paper and showed it to Blue. Who? He said. Blue gasped. A human? Wow! What's their name gonna be? He said. Ink shrugged. I don't really know. I don't even know what their genders be. They're gonna be. Or if I should just make them genderless like Frisk, he said. Dream walked in. Hey, Ink, I was walking by and heard something about you not knowing what to do with a sketch. He asked. Ink nodded. Well, they're in a sketch phase now, but... Anyways, did you want to help? He asked. Dream nodded. Ink looked at his sketch and spoke. Yeah, I want to start with the rest of their design, but if I know what their gender is, it'll be a bit easier to figure out the base design, he said. Dream looked at the sketch. I think... The skeleton closed his eye sockets for a second, thinking. Then he opened them. I think they should be female, he said. Ink set the paper on the desk and turned the lamp on, knowing the other two skeletons would linger, blocking out light, making it harder to draw. Ink set to drawing the now female character. 2 hours later. Ink sighed and leaned back. Damn, he did not expect it to take this long to draw and create a character. He sighed, and the other two skeletons were asleep on the couch not too far from the desk. Ink got up and walked over to the two skeletons, waking them up. They both looked at him groggily, Blue being a bit more active than Dream, but still tired. Ink smiled. Guys, I finished her. All she needs is a name, he said. The two skeletons quickly got up and followed Ink to the table and looked at the finished drawing. Dream started thinking. I'm not good at coming up with good names. Star, Mabel, Rebecca, Sabrina? Dream said, thinking. Blue started thinking of names. A name that fits, he said, staring at the drawing intently. Wyan, he said. Ink thought, in his opinion, Rebecca was a good name, but so was Wyan. He pondered, then decided, well, Wyan does seem to fit her. So, Ink didn't even have to finish his sentence for the other two skeletons to understand. Blue's fist shot up in the air. Yes, he said. Ink smiled, and the skeletons went outside. It was grassy. There were a few flowers and a big oak tree. The doodle sphere had big and small floating islands. The one Ink put the house on was a medium-sized island, just the right size for a 4-bedroom house. There was 2 floors and 2 bedrooms on each floor with 1 bathroom on each floor. Not that they really needed that, though. But Ink would always say something like, just in case, or you never know. The skeletons stood outside by the oak tree. Ink set the paper with the drawing of lion on the ground. He grabbed his paintbrush, and suddenly Fresh appeared. Hey yo, what's up, my rad homies? Ink jolted slightly and turned around. Dream and Blue turned to face him. Blue smiled. Hey, Fresh! Ink's about to make his drawing a real person. Blue said. Fresh's brows raised slightly, and his glasses read, so cool, being cut off slightly at the middle. Ink smiled. You can watch if you want. It's my first try making a person. He smiled. Fresh shrugged. Sure, Broseph, he said. Ink smiled and turned to the drawing on the ground, grabbed his paintbrush off his back, and slashed it in the air, getting ink all over the drawing. Fresh's glasses changed to read question marks. Well, just a bunch of question marks. Then Ink set the tip of his paintbrush in the middle of the puddle and slowly lifted it. A silhouette of a human female slowly rose with it. She was covered entirely with ink and paint. She was standing in a casual position. The further up she moved, the smaller the puddle of ink got. Then, eventually, when her entire body was out, the puddle was gone. Fresh was genuinely surprised, and his glasses read awesome. Ink smiled, flicking his brush slightly, straightening the tip, making it sharp. Then he slashed at the silhouette. 2 white, glowing crisscross slashes appeared, and they started glowing even brighter and brighter. Fresh's instincts kicked in, and he teleported away with a fresh poof. Ink and the other star seances raised their arms up to shield their eyes. When the glowing died down, the skeletons looked at the place where the silhouette was. There was a girl with skin, and insert hair length and hair. She was wearing a favorite color, tank top, and a pair of jeans. Dream walked over to her and lifted her up, his arms supporting her weight. He set her in a sitting position against the tree. Ink used his magic and painted a soul, though it had no trait. There was a monster soul in it, too. He turned to his friends. They shrugged. Ink turned towards the human female and used his magic and placed the soul inside her. Then he turned around. Hey, guys? He asked. The 2 skeletons looked at him. Yes? What is it, Ink? The skeleton said. Ink looked around more. Where did Fresh go? He said. The 2 skeletons had puzzled looks on their faces. Then looked around, noticing the skeleton's sudden disappearance. Dream sighed. I guess he went to go cause some mischief somewhere in the multiverse, he said. Ink sighed and nodded. Blue's shoulders slumped. Aw, but I really wanted him to see Wine's creation, he said. Dream placed his hand on Blue's shoulder and gently caressed it with his thumb. It's okay. I'm sure he'll get to meet her eventually. He was cut off when Ink spoke. Guys, she's waking up. The skeletons walked closer to the human. Ink knelt down in front of her, and she slowly opened her eyes and looked up at the skeleton. Your point of view. Darkness. That was all you could see. You couldn't feel anything. Then you felt as if something had touched your head, pulling you by your hair. Oddly enough, it didn't hurt. It felt relieving. Slowly, you began to come to your senses. You felt warm, but you also felt as if you had a wet, sticky substance covering your body. Your newfound hearing had picked up muffled voices. You heard 2 slashing sounds and felt something on your torso. Your vision turned white. You slowly opened your eyes and raised your head to see a skeleton with colorful pinpricks and a small blotch of ink smudged on his cheekbone. You looked around with your eyes. Behind him, you saw two skeletons. One had black pants, a light yellow coat with cyan tabs, and a cyan belt with DS written on it, and a bright yellow cape with a star clip on it, and a golden crown and circular golden pinpricks. The other had a gray t-shirt, shoulder pads, dark gray pants, baby blue boots, gloves, and a bandana. He had blue star-shaped pinpricks. You looked at the skeleton in front of you. He had a big light brown scarf, a brown shirt, a light blue jacket tied around his waist. His sleeves were an interesting design. So were his pants. You blinked, and the skeleton in front of you spoke. "Hello, I'm Ink. I created you," he said. You tilted your head and lifted your arm and brought your hand to your chest. "Me?" he said. The skeleton, or Ink, as he introduced himself, nodded. You paused, then asked, "What's my name?" You asked. Ink got up and stretched his hand out to you. You took his hand, and he helped you up. "Your name is Warren," he said. He didn't let go of your hand. He led you to the other skeletons and introduced you to them. The skeleton wearing mostly yellow and gold held out his hand. "I'm Dream. It's nice to finally meet you, Ryan," he said. You shook his hand and nodded. He let go, and you turned to the skeleton wearing blue and gray. He smiled, grabbing your hand, shaking it. "Hello, Ryan. My name's Blueberry, but everyone calls me Blue," he said. You nodded and smiled, grabbing his hand with your free hand, causing him to stop and let go of your hand. "Oh, sorry about that. I tend to get excited easily," he said. You gave him a closed-eye smile and tilted your head to the side. "No worries. It's perfectly all right," he said. Ink smiled at you, wrapping an arm around your shoulder. "Well, I'm sure creation has probably tired us all out. How about we all get some rest? Plus, Wyan needs to learn how to use her magic later. And for that, she needs energy," Ink said. The other skeletons nodded. You smiled and nodded, and the skeletons took you inside and showed you where everything was. You entered your new room. It had a bed in the corner, a nightstand, and a lamp. There were a couple boxes in the corner. You didn't bother with them and just walked over to your bed and sat down. You took off your shoes and slid under the covers, pulling the blanket over you and resting your head on the pillow. You looked up at the ceiling and sighed. "I wonder what my powers are." You turned onto the side and closed your eyes, drifting off to sleep. Okay. I actually had fun with this. So this is chapter 1. I will write another chapter here soon. Yeah, this is gonna be a fresh X reader. If I haven't already said that, I probably have, knowing me. Crap, I'm almost out of time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe or something. Leave a comment. I would actually appreciate it. Bye guys.